Yo, this is sick.
All right, so I got my boy Ryan here today with me.
What's up, y'all?
He really, we've been friends for about what, like 6 years now?
Yeah, 5, 6.
5 or 6 years,
5 or 6.
He really, like, I just want to say, like, you really, like, our conversations are so impactful, and
Thank you.
like that's really why I want to bring you on the channel, and like,
Thank you.
Maybe we
Hell
can
yeah.
do maybe we can make this like a once a week thing or something.
Yeah, or something. I don't know.
Like that. I just kind of want to try it out. But yeah, maybe give a little bit of information about you. Yeah, take it away.
Okay. Well, I'm Ryan, obviously. I honestly, I love the idea of a channel like this because, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be said and not a lot of people willing to say it. And, the internet is ever changing, right? There is always going to be a new person logging into YouTube for the first time to watch Cocomelon, or, there's always going to be someone else that, is dipping their toes in, the World Wide Web. And, what better time is there in a time of so much confusion and strife and chaos, right? Both on the international scale, but, also as things are continuing to evolve, as stocks go up and down, as wars happen, as Epstein files are released, right? All sorts of shit. Like, I think it's as good of a time as ever to, give some commentary on that and maybe give people some grounding, before going into work the next day or something like that.
Absolutely. That's really why I started my channel. Like there's so many young people dealing with like heavy shit right now, and like people need to be willing to have these hard conversations.
Definitely.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier about AI slop and like all that bullshit that's been coming up online. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's one thing that definitively comes to my mind when I think about AI slop, and it would most certainly be the argument that everything that is created by AI should have some sort of AI tag on it. Very similar in parallel to how Sora was when Sora was released. Everything generated on the Sora platform, on the GPT Sora platform, had this little cloud with the face in it and then the Sora watermark bouncing around, right? Maybe a year ago, if you followed like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or TikTok, anything like that, if you were following it, or even if you were on Twitter, you would have seen, like, say, a monkey at a front porch in front of a Ring doorbell. And thank you. And, this monkey would there's a tornado running in the background, farther in the photo of the AI cam, right? And this monkey would scream as it was ripped off the porch into the tornado, right? And I remember the first or second time I saw that, I know, right? The first or second time I saw that, I was like, how is there a monkey in this?
Yeah, bro.
Right? But, obviously the Sora watermark, you see 10 seconds later. And
I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. But that just shows how crazy it's gotten that you kind of need a watermark to differentiate,
Dude, yeah, so much so. And there was an AI artist a while back that Moist Critical did a video on. If you know, you know. And this AI artist got $1 million deal, right? The person that came up with the prompts to create this person and create the music got $1 million record deal from one of the big three, right? UMG, Warner Bros. Music, Sony, right? Like the multi-billion, maybe even $1 trillion companies, right, in the music industry that, kind of control all of it in distribution and publishing and whatnot. They signed this AI artist, which is crazy. And it's making me think does there need to be more proactive boundaries behind something like that? I mean,
you can't even call that shit art, because in my opinion, only humans can make art, art comes from the consciousness, the human experience, it's directly human, no computer can do that shit. It's just a human can digital design and the Photoshop album covers type shit, digital art.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
AI is just completely different because there's no thought and there's no effort. All these artists put in so much effort into these making these pieces.
Definitely.
And AI just completely shits on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, quintessentially shits on is like the ultimate explanation for how it fundamentally works, because really it is just a conglomeration of lots of different sources, right? I've heard people be incredibly frustrated about an artist who has a very unique art style get replicated by AI, and no credit is given by AI because, since their work can be, openly sourced on the internet, right? Like, they're nothing more than a part of the matrix. I mean, literally a part of the matrixing algorithm, right? The grid that can just take you from one website and put it in, the answer for whatever prompt it's being given, right? And
Precisely.
yeah, which is just adds this increased level of frustration, about like, even for artwork, which kind of gets shit on by humans, even though they're made by humans. For example, that $9 million painting of like a blue canvas and then like a banana with duct tape over it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that didn't take that much effort,
But like
right?
you can, but like you can still like respect that another human did that,
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
the AI just like no respect. I have no respect for any of that.
And I mean, there's so many reasons to question its usefulness, especially because it just eats a ton of water, right? If you're a gaming enthusiast and you're trying to build a new PC, you know exactly what's happened to RAM and all of that over the last 5 years, right? It's probably quadrupled, if not more, in expenses, right?
My neighbor's having that realization right now. He's trying to build a computer right now.
Yeah,
And
a RAM
the RAM is just out of
RAM used to be the arguably out of the big PC components, right? CPU, GPU, motherboard, RAM, power supply. Oh yeah, thank you. Out of all of them, RAM used to be one of the cheapest. Now it's easily one of the most expensive. I mean, it could honestly compete with the price of a CPU. It's way more than what a motherboard would be now if you were to get, say, 32 gigabytes, even a solid 32 gigabyte pair of sticks, or if you were to go all the way to 64 gigabytes, or if you were to buy a 32 gigabyte stick, so you'd have 128 total. I mean, yeah, that could easily be more than the CPU and the motherboard combined. It could be so much, and this is all obviously due to data centers being created, and data centers are getting created because of AI.
Yeah, I used to have so much respect for Nvidia because they were like, they still are, but like, they like they were the top of their game, like they were they were the computer component, for a lot of components.
Right.
But
NVIDIA
now
and AMD.
they've completely disregarded the consumer market, the everyday PC user,
Right.
For these data centers. They completely shut down their like what I'm saying, your daily consumer of your daily your everyday PC builder,
Yeah, your everyday enjoyer of PC parts, definitely. The people that get a lot of mileage out of building a computer. People who are on that. Say when they get home, that's their go-to relaxation instead of behind the TV, behind a Roku, behind cable, right? More often than not, it's gonna be behind a laptop or.
And so many people
like
have like businesses like that where they build computers, like
right, and it jeopardizes
like gaming
them too.
computers,
Right, it makes the margins even thinner.
They've completely disregarded their main customer base,
Right,
it's completely disrespectful.
And honestly, if anyone follows the stock market, I mean, you would see, from 2020, like if you bought Nvidia in 2020, if you bought it even in 16, and you would have your profits would have gained like multiple figures, right? Maybe 3, 4, 5 figures. If you put 10,000 in, you wouldn't have to work for the rest of your life if you put it in 2020. It's really interesting. There was also some information about Nvidia, like not creating new GPUs or something like that for the consumer market, or not selling or ceasing the production of a certain chip or something like that for the consumer market. And that really lets right? Like now that Nvidia went from, say, in 2020 a less than $1 trillion market cap company to 5.5 trillion, bigger than Facebook and Meta, right, and Instagram, right? There's only 3 or 4 social medias that the entire world, or that the Western world uses, and it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, right? And you could maybe rope in Snapchat. You might be able to rope in some other stuff, but
dude, that just shows you where the priorities type shit. Yeah, Meta, it's completely taken over. But yeah, that just shows you where their priorities are at. That just shows you where where their interests are at, what they're focusing on right now.
Right. I mean,
And
yeah.
it is not us. It is
Definitely.
not us. Absolutely not.
I think the U.S. is planning some federal level road infrastructure changes, just like maintaining everything, going through and making sure everything is up to date and optimal. And that project is estimated to be at like 90 billion total. The data center infrastructure project is projected to be $1 trillion. When you think about how the U.S. government is only pouring in 60 billion, and this is, or 60 to 90 billion, and this is going to be,
Yeah, there's no regulations on it. There's no regulations on AI. That's why all these data centers are being built.
right. That's why if you guys follow stocks, that's why Micron has doubled from being 600 million market cap to like 900 million or 400 million. And that was last February. I mean, guys, it is not slowing down. It is not slowing down at all. And, you know, the U.S. being arguably, besides maybe China, the most lucrative U.S. governmental system in the world, right? In terms of just having funds, you know, their biggest project, the world's biggest governmental project, being only around 90 billion, but all the corporate conglomerates pouring $1 trillion. I mean, that is pennies on the dollar, right? That is literally 900% of a gap, you know, of revenue going into this data center project, which is why Nvidia has gone so massively up. Why stuff like Micron, Seagate, SanDisk, SK Hynix, right? All of these companies that are known for pouring, you know, RAM, which is the bottleneck for a lot of data centers, right? That's why it's just going massively green, right, on the market, massively. But it also explains why Nvidia would, you know, leave the everyday consumer like us, because we really can only afford 1 or 2 GPUs, right? And like one every 10 years. And, you know, if someone's going to offer $200 billion to build 5 data centers, you know, what are we to that? What is $400 to that? What is $1,000 to get a 5090 to that?
I mean, I completely agree with you. It just shows the capitalist hell that we live in right now. And it shows that we all collectively need to lock in and get our intelligence up, get our money up, and we can really make a difference. We can really start, you know, reversing this whole
Yeah.
deal.